Okay, I'm going to start with the light colored yarn. Not very good at doing, never done a video doing crochet before, or a tutorial or anything like that, so it's my first attempt to it, so it is what it is. So basically I do slip knot, and I'm going to chain 7. This is just a basic round baby hat, and I'll put a palm on top of it. So for a newborn, about between 5 and 7 pounds. You can do a little bit bigger if you want, but this is supposed to fit snugly. So it's not, I'm going to show you how to do chain, show you how to do the crown and how to get the circle going. So I'm chaining 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I'm not a counter, so counting this chain is about all I'll count. So to connect, all I'm going to do is go through from one end to the other. I'm not going to wrap around before I go through. Just doing a chain to bring it through. So you wrap it through around the hook and bring it through both ends. I don't wrap around in between from one end to the other. So you have a little bit of a circle, and that'll get closer together as we crochet along. And this is where in the end I'll put a palm right there, and I'll attach it from this side to this side and bring that together. You'll see. So basically I'm just gonna do a chain. I'm not gonna wrap around before I go through each one. For the first time I go through, I'm just chaining the very first row. So just chaining. I'm not wrapping around. That's just the first one. I'll go through, wrap around, bring it through. Don't bring anything on the hook in between. Don't wrap around and go through. I just go through, wrap it around, bring it up and through both ends. Go through, bring it up, go through. So you don't wrap around and go through. I don't know how well my camera's working or not, my laptop. Wrap around, wrap around. I could do that again so I can see what I'm doing here. Wrap around. No. Go through, wrap around. Nothing on extra. Bring it through. And we're getting ready to come to the end of this circle. Whoop. Alright. Now we have gone around once. Now see how that's tightened? You don't even see the hole anymore. It's just a little bit. A tiny bit. So now we're going to do a full stitch. Which what I do to start with is I wrap it around the hook. Go down through the loop. Okay. Wrap it around once. Bring it up through the hole. Then you should have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to wrap around and bring it through those 3 on the hook. Come on, that's a little bit tight. That's alright. Okay, so again, wrap around, go through, wrap around, bring it up through the hole. You have 3 on the hook. Wrap around and bring it through the 3. See, so now you're starting your circle. Wrap around, take it through the hole. Wrap around, bring one up through the hole. Then you have 3 on the hook. Wrap around and bring it through the 3. Wrap around, go on down, wrap around, bring it up through. You have 3 on the hook. Wrap around, go through the 3. Wrap around, go through the hole, wrap around, bring one up through the hole. You have 3 on the hook. Wrap around and go through the 3. And you just keep doing that till you get around. You've done 1 row on the circle. Okay, see how it's forming? Wrap around, through the hole, bring it through, then through the 3. When you get to that tail, see that tail, then you're going to add a chain before you start the next row. Okay, so now you're at the tail, so you're going to add a stitch, and you're going to have an extra hole to go through. Whoop. And my yarn is splitting, I mean. Oh, come on, go through. Alright, this is leftover yarn from a baby blanket hat and booties that I did. Wrap around, go through, bring it up, take it through the 3 on the hook. Okay, wrap around. Now see, I don't know if you can see this or not. Where this string is, that's part of the stitch, you're not going to go through the hole. You're not going to go through the hole that's a part of the stitch. You're going to go to the next hole, just so you know where to start. Down here. Take it through both of them. Whoop. I lost my wraparound. There we go. Wrap around, bring it through, and again you have 3 on the hook. Wrap around, bring it through the 3. And you just keep going, and it's sort of flat and it'll curve a little bit. Just adjust your tension. And as you see, I'll hold the string on my finger. Sometimes I wrap it around my index finger if I want it a little bit tighter. It goes under, and it goes down through my pinky. That's up to you how you hold your string. Just whatever's comfortable. As long as you have consistent tension in your yarn, because you don't want your stitches tight in some spots and loose in others. Wrap around, go down through, wrap around, bring it up, go through the 3 on the hook. And I leave that little tail there where you first started your chain, because that way you can know where your circles you've done another row and to add a stitch, or a chain, I mean. Adding a stitch and adding a chain are 2 different things, so I don't want to get you mixed up there. You add a chain when you start a new row. Now see, this hole right here is a little bit smaller than this one. That's where you had added a chain the last time. But you want to go through that little hole. Okay. And we're getting close to that tail right there, so we're coming to the close of this row. And I'm going to change the way I'm holding it on my finger, just to loosen up my tension a little bit. So we've got that very top part pretty nice and snug. So now it's time to add a chain. Oop, got to wrap around before I went through. Wrap around, then go through, wrap around, bring it up, then you have 3 on the hook, same stitch. In fact, I don't change stitch for this whole thing. The ruffle, we're going to add the ruffle, and I'll show you that part, is the only time that I change the stitch. And all that is adding and increasing each row to get the ruffle. Real easy ruffle to do. You don't have to do the ruffle. I like ruffles. See, there you have your circle. Because it looks like when you're doing it, like you're going at a slant, but you know, you're going in a circle, I promise you. I've done plenty of these hats. I don't have a pattern, I just made it up one year. Same with the booties. I remember I learned how to do a pair of booties for adults, and then I figured out how to adjust it a little to do baby booties. That's really easy. Once you figure out how to do a circle, it's not hard. And just keep going. And my dog's telling me that she's got to go potty, so I need to bring this video to a close. And I'll just keep going around, and when it gets a little bit bigger, I'll start the video. But you see how it goes. You just keep going and wait. Okay, so I've got the crown done, and I'm going to show you where I add a stitch. So this is the outer part of it, and it's starting to curl, but basically what I did is when I get around here you can tell there's a little bit of dip because I'm bringing it around, and I'll add another stitch chain before I start the next row, and I'll show you how I make sure that I go into that extra hole. So that's part I was going to show you, but it should start to be, this is the crown, so it should be starting to curve, and you'll add just a little bit as you go around each time, so that it'll keep increasing into the point where you end it, and then you add a ruffle. I like to add a ruffle, which is not hard at all. So this is going to be the last one for this row, and so I'm going to go ahead, and you can see where when this string is a part of this loop here, you don't go into that hole. If the bottom of that stitch is in that hole, you don't go into that hole. Okay, but there's a tiny hole, and that's where I added a stitch last time. So you go into that smaller hole. Yep. And bring it through. Okay, so now we've completed a row, so now it's time to add a stitch. So basically you just add a chain. Instead of continuing to go around in this same loop, you're going to add one. Okay, so when you add one, see where this is a part of this? You're going to go down around, and you're going to go through this one here, and I take it through both of them. You can go through either one or both, doesn't matter either way. You'll just have sort of a line around. You can even alternate, go through just the outer part and then through both, alternating rows, and you'll have line, no line, no line, just, you know, it's just a different little design. That's all that does. Okay, and so see this chain here, and this is a part of that hole there, so you're going to go down here. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I understand it in my mind, so I'm sorry if it's not understood. So now you can tell that you've added, and then now you just go down through this hole here, because this hole is a part of this, so you don't go into that one. And you go through this, make sure that you leave this bottom part out, just go through the top part of the stitch. Okay, and then you just keep going around. And I don't know, I might actually need to redo that. Made that part a little too loose. I think I will. Let's redo that one. I don't like the tension on that. I want it even. That's being picky. That's okay. Okay, so go back down through here. Right. Now when you're going around, it should look like this, like you're going on a slant, but as you go around, you'll see that it continues to make a circle. And I just keep the yarn a little bit loose on my finger. Just wrap it around my index finger, through my middle finger, and down through my pinky. Doesn't have to be that way. That's just my position of comfort. Different people do it different ways. Just as long as you keep the tension going through consistently. And I'm not used to using a ball. I like to use it straight off of the skein, and I pull it through the end of the skein. This is where I start my string, but this is leftover yarn, so wrap around, go down through, wrap around, bring it through. Wrap around, take it down, wrap around, bring it through. Wrap around, bring it through the 3. Wrap around, take it through, wrap around, bring it up, wrap around again, bring it through the 3. It's just the same stitch over and over. Wrap around, bring it through, wrap around, bring it through, around, bring it through, around, take it through the hole, wrap it around, bring it up through the hole, do. Same old, same old. And I'm going to show you how to add a stitch one more time, and then I'm going to go 3 more rows, and in this video, after I finish this row, add another stitch. Whoop, quite make that around. Unless I need to go walk my doggies. It's that time. Alright, so now we're starting to get the curl. Once you get to the point where you get big enough for the crown, and it's going to start folding. Okay, see? So now we're starting to get a fold in there. Alright, so now it's time to add it. This is the last one for this row. Let's see where we go. And then we need to add a chain before we start the next row. Add a stitch, and then figure out where to start. This row should start right here. Whoop. Wrap around, take it through here. Okay, wrap around, bring it through. You have 3 on the hook. Do. Okay, so here, see, your chain is up here, so now you're going to go down here and start the next row. Oh, wrap around, go down through, wrap around, bring it up through the hole, wrap around, bring it to 3 on the hook. Okay, wrap around, take it down, wrap around, bring it up through. See, now we're hair. I'm trying to weave a hair in there. Okay. You see the hat that's starting to form? And we'll bring it down. It'll be, I can do that right on my camera or not. About 3 more inches. And then we'll add a palm on top. It's a very simple hat. Now this is just for when a baby's actually born. You can add a braid on the sides to help hold it on the head. It's up to you. You can do a string through the top of it, you know, around the ruffle when we get to that point. That'll help keep it snug on the head. Just different options you can do. Okay, and I'm gonna stop here, and then when I get a little bit further, we'll get ready to end it to where we start the ruffle. I'll come back. Okay, so starting here, we've got the where it's got maybe 1 more row, and then what I'll do once I finish this last row is I'm gonna just do a chain, and that'll kind of like be the hem, and then inside that hem I'm gonna start the ruffle row. So I'm just continuing in the same stitch, going all the way around, and I added each row so I could get some width here. Remember, this is for a newborn. Okay, so you just wrap around, go down through the hole, wrap around, bring that up through the hole. You have 3 on your hook, wrap around and bring it through the 3, and you just keep doing that. And so I'm on the last row, then I'm going to do a chain. You don't have to do the chain, you could just start the ruffle, but I think it's neater when you have that little line for sort of a hem before you start your ruffle. My dogs are having playtime right now. I have poodles, rowdy poodles, big ones. They're not real big though, about 30, 35 pounds. Girls. They eat dinner and go out for their walk and then play for a while, and then they sort of conk out. Figure out exactly where I'm going to start. Just finish this row. Bring it through the 3, wrap around, go down through the hole, wrap around, bring it up, go down through the 3. Okay. And then just tell you what, I'm running out of yarn, so instead of doing the hem, I'm just going to go ahead and start a ruffle. On the ruffle, basically, you add a stitch. Not a stitch, I'm sorry. You add a chain. That's just an extra loop on your hoop before you go back down. And what that'll do is it'll just give you more hoops, more stitches to go through, and it'll, on the second time you go around and doing that, it'll just ruffle. It's just that simple. you just do this. Whoop, I didn't add it. You just, each time on this first one on the ruffle, you add a stitch before you start the stitch. Add a chain before you start the stitch. I'm sorry, I'm tired. It's getting late. Go down. Okay. Add a stitch. Go down. Do your regular stitch. Add a chain. Wrap around. Go down. You're just adding the chain on each one. Each time you do a stitch, you add a chain. And that's going to give you an increase on your next time around. Add a chain. Wrap around. Go down through the hole. You're just doing the same stitch. The only thing different is you're adding a chain before you start the stitch each time for one row. Add a chain, wrap around, go down, bring it, wrap around, bring it up, go down through the 3. You see what it's doing? And so the next time you go around, it's just going to automatically ruffle because you've added extra stitches or extra holes, basically. You'll see. Okay, you add your chain. Add your chain, do your stitch. Add your chain, do your stitch. My dogs are being silly. Oh my word. I've got one that chases her tails. Her tail. I don't know why she does it. She's just hilarious though when she does. She's done it since she was a puppy. Add a chain. Go down through. Add a chain. Wrap around. Go down through the hole. Wrap around. Bring it up through the hole. You have 3 on your hook. And you bring it through. And you just keep doing that. You're just adding a chain. Each stitch is all. What you doing over there, silly girl? Add your chain, wrap around, go down through, bring it up, go down through. Add your chain, wrap around, go down through. And then add your chain, wrap around, go down through, wrap around, bring it up. Bring it through the 3, add your chain, wrap around, go down through, wrap around, bring it up. You have 3 on the hook, wrap around, go through the 3, add your chain, wrap around, go down through, do 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 do. Add your chain, wrap around, go down through, wrap around, bring it through, do 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 do. Add your chain, wrap around, go down through, do 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 do. You see what it's doing? You're starting your ruffle. Add your chain, wrap around, go down through. Add your chain, wrap around, go down through. Okay, so we're almost at the end here. Add Add your chain. Go down through, wrap around, bring it up. Add your chain. Go down through, wrap around, bring it up. Add your chain, wrap around, go down through, bring it up. Okay, so here we are in the last one. Now what we're going to do is you just go down through each one, but now you have an extra, you have more to go through. So that is going to cause a ruffle. Go down through. You're going to do the same stitch you did last time, but this time you have extra, and that is automatically going to cause a ruffle. Do 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 do. Sorry, I have to. See that little hole there? You have these little holes. That's the extra where you added a chain. That's what that is. And you go through that. You don't just go through this big space. You go through this little hole right here. This one right here. That little one. Okay. Now you have a regular hole, regular sized hole, I guess you should say. Okay, you're going to go through that. So those little holes are the extra ones when you added a chain. So now you're just doing a regular stitch. And you can add a chain if you want a bigger ruffle. Just if you do, you don't have to. It just makes it a different size ruffle is all. But this is a small hat, so you really don't want a really big ruffle. So this should be sufficient to just go down through and do the stitch in each one. Yarn splitting. Okay. You see what it's doing? And that's basically all. You just keep going around and then tie it off. And then I'll come back and I'll show you how to do the palm and how to do the braid where you can make it snugger on the head. Okay, so I ended the ruffle. Basically all you do is just bring it down into the last stitch without adding the chain in the last stitch, and then you can just bring it through and tie it. So now I'm going to do the palm, and basically move this out of the way. What I do is I fold, I'm going to do this without getting it all on the camera. Fold it on the yarn so you can see what the height is. So you just pick a length and you just, this is how I do it. You may make a palm a different way, but, and I just keep adding an extra fold. My yarn ball just fell on the floor. Oh well. I was running out of yarn, so I just made it small. Smaller than I normally would, because like I said, that was leftover yarn and I don't have that much. And I'd hate to get in the middle of doing a whole hat and then not end up having enough. So I went just a little bit more skimping than I normally would. And then you fold it in half to see if that's enough thickness that you would like, and I'll go a little bit more. So basically grab it by one end. I just hold it by one end and I just keep folding it just so you get the idea of how to do, and you can add the thickness to the palm or decrease, whatever. And you don't have to have one either. That's just my thing. I think it's cute. Snip it. And then we're going to take a string, tie a knot in the middle of this fold here. Put the scissors out of the way. Right smack in the middle. And I'm going to leave that because I'm going to use this to darn through the top of the hat. And all you'll do is just go through these and cut whatever length you want the palm to be. So, whoop, here's my strays. Okay, we're going to use that to go through. Where's my hook? Okay. So we're going to use, I'll go inside the hat, go through the very top. See, remember that little hole that was left after we did the first circle? We're going to use that little hole, and we're going to bring the first stray through. See? And then we're going to bring the other, do that again, and bring the other stray through. Not the hoop, but the stray. Okay, so now that we have them both in here, inside the hat, we're gonna tie it. But first, before I tie it, I'm gonna go through one of the first hoops, so that way I have an anchor when we tie it together. Okay, not too tight. Alright. And now, we'll take this, and we'll just snip the loops. And then we're going to trim it. Or you could just, depending on the length that you want, you could just cut it this way too. Better to cut it long than too short, because you can't undo when you cut it too short. And there you go. It's your little palm. And normally I would have more, but like I said, I'm running out of yarn. And you can cut that shorter if you want. It's all up to you. It's your creativity. I prefer to have them even. There you go. And then bring this, tie that down. Now what I usually do when I have these loose ones is I'll go through here and I want to darn it in so that we don't have a little bitty lanyard sticking out somewhere. I call it a lanyard, and I'm military. Or military. Oh. There you have it. Now, as far as if you want to add something, you can take, I don't know if I have enough yarn left, it's on the floor. You can take 3, take 3 and braid it. Basically you make a braid, okay? You just braid it. You know, I don't have to do that for you. You know how to braid. And then you're just going to take the braid and you're just going to darn it through here. And then tie it in the front, and that'll help bring some snugness to it. there you go.